Key concepts and principles of disaster risk reduction. Let's define disaster risk reduction or DRR. According to Asian Disaster Reduction Center, it is a systematic approach to identifying, assessing, and reducing risks of disaster. It aims to reduce economic vulnerabilities to disaster as well as deal with the environmental and other hazards that trigger them. For UNDRR or UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction and United Nations Development Program, disaster risk reduction is the conceptual framework of elements considered with the possibilities to minimize vulnerabilities and disaster risks throughout a society to avoid or the term prevention or to limit the adverse impacts of hazards, also known as mitigation and preparedness, within the broad context of sustainable development. Key concepts of DRR. Number one, disaster risk reduction is a matter of decision. DRR aims to reduce the damage caused by natural hazards like earthquakes, floods, droughts, and cyclone through an ethic of prevention. We have here an example of prevention or ethic of prevention for typhoons. What to do before? So we have evacuate when advised, check the contents of your family's medical kit, stockpile non-perishable food and clean water, seek higher ground if living in low-lying coastal areas, and follow the government's advice. Number two key concept, disaster risk reduction is about choices. DRR is the concept and practice of reducing disaster risk through systematic efforts to analyze and reduce the causal factors of disaster. So we have here the overseeing of those activities, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council or the NDRRMC, together with the provincial DRRMCs, city DRRMCs, and municipal DRRMCs. While for implementing, we have National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Authority or the NDRRMA, Regional DRRMA, Provincial, City, Municipal DRRMO, and the Barangay DRRM Committee. So we have the Office of the President and the Regional Development Council for overseeing and implementing. Third key concept, disaster risk reduction is everyone's business. DRR includes disciplines like disaster management, disaster mitigation, and disaster preparedness, but DRR is also part of the sustainable is the development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Basic principles of DRR. First, development can either increase or decrease disaster risk. Second, DRR policy, laws, and regulations will not save lives unless correctly implemented in communities. Third, the community is the front line of disaster risk management. Fourth, DRR is not a standalone activity. It cuts across all categories of human activity. Fifth, integrating DRR at the national, provincial, and community levels takes a long time to achieve. Sixth, DRR must become a normal part of decentralized development process. And these are the basic principles of DRR and the key concepts of disaster risk reduction.